What's up, everybody? Welcome to day one of NoFap. The time is 9:38 p.m. It's been a long day. It's been a very long day. Good day, but a very long day. I got a lot of work done today, but let's start from last night. So last night I went to bed at around 9 o'clock, and I tried to go to sleep. I say try because I actually went to sleep at 10 o'clock, but I went to bed at 9 o'clock. So usually I've got earbuds in playing some brown noise and some white noise to help me fall asleep super fast. You know, sometimes my brother will stay over, my parents will stay over, and my dad and my brother snore really loud. And that's usually why I have the brown noise and white noise on. And I've realized that I've grown a kind of sleep dependency on it, because when I tried to go to sleep without the input, I just couldn't pass out. My body was relaxed. It was a nice temperature. I just couldn't pass out. I was just conscious the whole 1 hour, and it got me frustrated. And I know the more frustrated I am, the less I'm going to be able to sleep. And so eventually I did put on the brown noise and the white noise, but I think the new strategy to kind of combat this, because I don't want to sleep with the earbuds in anymore. The new strategy is, try to fall asleep, but once you get to the point of frustration, just try to put on a short video of white noise, nothing that lasts 10 hours, which is what I usually put on, but something that only lasts 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that, to try and counteract that. And, just let it over time naturally fall asleep without anything. So, yeah. Finally went to sleep. Woke up at 5 a.m. and I had some energy at 5 a.m. I was pretty surprised. I was like, this is kind of nice. Went to the gym really early, and the gym was really hot. It was about 82 degrees in there, and I was dying. It was chest day, it was shoulders, it was triceps, and because of how hot it is, your body expends more energy trying to cool you down, so lifting was hard. Lifting was really hard because I was running out of energy. I destroyed most of my water by the time I hit half my exercises, so it was rough. And I'm 165 and I can bench my own body weight, which is great. But I used to be able to bench 185 for like 3 sets of 5. So it's a little frustrating that I can't get to 185 again. But then again, I'm cutting also. So yeah. I'm trying to get to 225. I'm trying to bench 225. But I need a good meal and a cooler temperature. But I managed to overload my triceps, today. I didn't get to overload any of my chest, but I got to overload my triceps today, so it's a bit of a win. And then after that, did a ton of gig work, and I did a ton of business work. Did a bunch of product research, have some new angles of attack for this product, have some new ways to different angles to sell it from. And a bunch of videos I downloaded as well, so I could put them together, stitch them together to make a video. So that's great. Did a ton of gig work today. I did a lot, and I like gig work. It's fun. It's really fun. I get to basically drive around the city. Drive around the city, go to restaurants that I'd never been to before, and kind of be like, never been here before. Must see if it's pretty good. Try it for next time. But then I went to confession, and confession was fantastic. And I like all the priests, but I have a very, very warm place in my heart for the Ethiopian and Nigerian priests, and I had one of them. And I confessed everything that I did, as well as the anger that I felt from yesterday's video. I confessed the anger that I felt too, and my frustration. And, he gave me some very solid advice. Very, very solid advice. And, that's between me and God, but it definitely put a lot of things into perspective. And yeah, it's a very good confession. It's a very good session. And so after that, did more gig work and came back home, and now I'm recording this. So yeah, it was a very good day, very busy day. I stayed constantly busy. And yeah, I think having a ton of energy, fixing my sleep schedule, having a ton of energy and waking up super early, like that was great. I think I used to do that back when I didn't have friends to go out with, and now I do. And now we're staying up super late, but I think I'm going to stop doing that just for the sake of me. I think I'm at that age where I'm not the age where I'm not too, like, you know, it's not too old for me to stay up that late, but I think for the amount of responsibilities that I have, I think it's better that I don't stay up that late anymore. And so, you know, I got to be able to say, hey, I love you guys. I know you guys want me to stay, because they'll always be like, you know, they'll always try to talk to me, or they'll always try to say, why are you leaving so early, you know? But I think for the sake, and you know, it's great to have friends, but for the sake of me, and for the sake of the things that I have to do on the day-to-day basis, I think I'm just gonna say, hey, by the way, way too late. Can't do this anymore. I'm out. You guys have fun. I'm out. So, yeah. But yeah, NoFap went well, and today went really well. This is probably the best day I've had in a long time. So I'm very, very happy about today. So yeah, let's get to your comments and questions. Mike, anger won't help, tough love might. In the 31 days since reappearing, you've lapsed 7 times. That averages about 4.43 days, or every 106 hours. Bro, that's not even a low fap. That's a good one. During that time, you've uploaded 9 hours of videos about wanting to quit. That's over 1.25 hours of video per fab. You tell me, is it working? If you want something you've never had before, you've got to do something you've never done before. Mike Pantile famously said, if you can't say no to your PP giving you a feeling, bro, you're not a man to me, dude. Sorry, just laughing about how I'm laughing at the articulation, or lack of. Admittedly, that's harsh, but it gets to the heart of the issue. Just as fasting isn't about renouncing food, but rather hunger, it's not about renouncing masturbation. It's about finding the courage to renounce the pleasure that masturbation gives you, perhaps in exchange for the pleasure of being free of it. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Yeah. I agree with all of that. And I did the math after my video ended. When I you know, it was in the spur of the moment in my video when I said that I've relapsed 7 days or 7 times in a month. And then after I uploaded the video, I did the math, and I was just like, am I really trying? Am I really, like, what? My first attempts at this were better. It was better during my first attempts at this. I don't know if I've ever, looking at my past videos, I don't know if I've ever done this bad. And it's just thinking about it that leaves me with a pretty scary thought. So for almost all of last week, I was kind of stuck on this, you know, old fire and new fire, what drives me, and I think it's still something that I'm working on, you know. Obviously, I know what the answer is, but now it's actually trying to live it out. But to give you, for those of you who don't know, I used to run on rage, a lot of rage and a lot of control, and trying to get things done and say it all depends on me, and trying to take control of my life. And, you know, the whole purpose of doing business was the whole purpose of anything I was doing was to take control of my life and keep it. and I was operating out of a rage that came from a betrayal of friendship from two people that I had used to care about, and used that rage from that betrayal to drive me to no longer feel that way again, and to no longer and to have control of my life, and take control of my life. And now, and every day was stress, and every day was no peace. And every day I was kind of just, I was using rage to do courageous things. I would start going to the gym. I would start doing NoFap. I would start a business, and then I would start doing Muay Thai. Like it was, these are a ton of things that normal people are pretty scared to do, and I did them. And I used my rage to push through the fear because I couldn't accept for myself to be a coward. But now that rage is gone, and I'm left with peace, and I'm left with working on the day-to-day, and I'm left with surrendering these things to Christ. And if I'm being honest, I'm not doing that to its fullest extent. I'm not trying as hard now that I'm doing that compared to when I was using rage. And that leaves me with a thought that I loved my rage more than I loved surrendering to Christ. Because, and I remember having these thoughts as like, my business is going to succeed. Back when I was using my rage, it was like, my business is going to succeed because I can't afford to have it fail. And I would say that about my body. I would say that about Muay Thai. I would say that about everything that I was doing. It's like, I am going to succeed in all of these things. It's only a matter of time. You could call it confidence, you could call it bravado, but I was very self-assured. And now I'm not sure. Now I'm not sure. Now I'm like, is this what God has planned for me? What if he takes this away? Should I be attached to this? Should I not be attached to this? I mean, this is something that I'm doing today. Let's just focus on what I've got to do today. But these questions do come up. And suddenly I'm not so confident. And suddenly I'm not so positive about taking that next step sometimes. And so now I'm in kind of a limbo. I'm kind of in this in-between of, I know what I have to do. I just don't know how to do it. I know what I have to do. I don't know how to get it done, which is surrender to Christ, work on the day-to-day, and find that fire because of my love for Christ. And the fire that I have, so here's the scary thought I'm talking about. The fire that I had working for me and my confidence and my rage, that fire was huge compared to what I have now, which is surrendering to Christ. And how little small that fire is, it leads me to conclude that I loved working for myself and having control over my stuff, of myself. And I don't love as much Christ and what he's got for me. Whatever that may be, because I don't even know what that is. And yeah, this is a faith issue, because God says, I know my plans for you, plans to prosper you and not to shame you. And, it's a scary thought, and it's a hard thought to deal with coming to the terms of, wow, I really do love myself more than I love God. I really do love myself more than I love Christ, because all these things that I have done in the name of me is impressive, and all the things that I have done in the name of Christ is not so impressive. So, but I know that this is the right answer. I know that this is what I want to do and what I need to do, but I know I'm not as passionate about it as this. And that's a faith issue. And I'm working it out. How does this lead to NoFap? Well, I was trying a ton of stuff for NoFap. I was, experimenting with different techniques. I was really gung-ho. I was doing push-ups. I remember I was doing push-ups almost every hour because I said I was going to try and do push-ups every hour. I did 20 push-ups, 30 push-ups, 40 push-ups every hour. I eventually got to 50 push-ups every hour before I eventually stopped doing it, because I started doing Muay Thai. But there was so many things that I did when I was just doing it for myself and with my rage and all of that. And I'm looking at my life now and I'm like, what am I doing now that I have Christ as my engine instead of rage, and rage as my engine? And it's not as impressive, and it's not as impressive. I know it's the right thing to do, but I feel like I know that I can do more. I just don't have that kind of passion that I did when I was using anger. So I mean, all of those words are true. All of what you said is true, Mike. Guess I'm still just trying to find that fire. And I think it just does depend on faith. And so I'm praying almost every day that God would help my unbelief. Because that's what it is. If I'm being fully honest, do I believe that God has a future for me that I would like? No. That's just honest. Because I don't know what it is. And I know the future that I would like for me. And have I fully surrendered it to God? No. Because I want it. I want it. I want the family. I want the tons of children. I want the riches so that I can provide for them. I want all these things. Do I trust God with it? Not fully. And so I'm running with an engine that's half working. And that's creating crisis within myself. It's also it's also making me vulnerable. It's also making me more vulnerable to relapse. So, I'm working on it. I just wish I was there already, you know? I wish I was there already. But I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep going. And if I relapse tomorrow, I'm gonna keep making this video. If If I relapse a week from now, I'm going to keep making this video. If I get to a month and then I relapse, I'm going to make this video. I'm going to keep trying. Because now I'm trying to operate without rage. Trying to do something courageous. Trying to do something I've never done before. But with a different engine. And this time it's a lot scarier. Because I don't have that self-assurance. Because I don't have that, I guess, that fire quite yet. I'm not saying it's never going to come. What I am saying is it's not there yet. But I'm not going to give up. Because if I did, might as well just lay down and die. So that's why I need you guys too. I can't do it by myself. That's why I've also continued to do this. You know, I do need that brotherhood. Because I don't have it. I don't have that brotherhood. Every time I think I find it, I just don't. You know? I meet people and I see that they're not as serious about life as I could be. And I want to be surrounded by people that are. I just don't know where they are. But I know that if I make these videos, everybody in my comments is. I don't know where you guys are, but I know you guys that are watching and commenting are working on this as well. And you guys can be that tough love for me. And you guys can be that brotherhood for me. To tell me that I'm screwing up. Or to tell me that you believe in me. Or to tell me that you're praying for me. Or to tell me that you're dropping the ball. Or to tell me that if you don't get it together, I'm giving up on you. Because I've had people tell me that before. And it's certainly kicked me into gear. Because nothing's more painful than a brother giving up on you. So, thanks. All of you. But that's all I got for today. I hope that all of your NoFap journeys are going well. Mine is still just getting started, but I'm still here. I'm still here. That's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.